Hey, everybody. We're going to do lesson 2.2 notes today. So lesson 2.2 is determine unit rates with ratios or fractions. This is pages 7 through 9, and it states I can find unit rates with ratios of fractions and use them to solve problems. So we're going to be doing a lot of fractions today. So let's head over to page 7, but as we know, the pages are actually, that's going to be our warm-up, but actually page 7 also has the example. So we're going to do that warm-up in class. Don't you worry about it. But let's do lesson 2, example 1. So it says, let's get the pointer. Rowan? I think it's Rowan, guys. I'm not positive. You know, let me know in class. Rowan mows the lawn every other weekend. She can mow 12,000 feet squared in 2/3 hour. The lawn is 36,000 feet squared. How long does it take her to mow the entire lawn? So as you see, we set up our table over here. I put my area, which is those 12,000. I'm going to actually highlight 12,000 feet. Ooh, that is not the highlight. Let's undo that. It's just, let's do this. So we're just going to underline 12,000 feet squared and then the 36,000 feet squared. Those are our areas. So if we know 12,000 feet squared and we know it took 2/3 in an hour, let's figure out what 1 hour took. So then we can figure out how long it took her to make 36,000 feet. So as always, we need to figure out how are we going to get to the unit rate of 1 hour. So we want to know what is 1 hour so that we can figure out at 1 hour how many thousands of feet there are. So how are we going to get from 2/3 to 1? Well, the trick to finding out is to multiply by the reciprocal. So 2/3 reciprocal, let's see, multiply by reciprocal. Fancy word for multiplying by its opposite. So the opposite of 2/3 is 3/2. So we're going to multiply by 3/2. Well, 2 times 3 equals 6. 3 times 2 equals 6. And 6/6 equals 1. So this is our reciprocal. So we're going to multiply this by 3/2, which is the same thing as saying divide by 2/3 to get there. So then up here, we're going to multiply by 3/2. Now, do you need to leave it as a fraction? Absolutely not. We have calculators. It's not about dividing. So if you want to see what 3/2 is as a decimal, well, we can put in our calculators 3 divided by 2, and you get 1.5. So you can multiply by 3/2, or you can multiply by 1.5, whatever makes your heart happy, but you need to multiply by one of them. So we're going to say multiply by 3/2. I got our 1. Now we need to do 12,000 multiplied by 3/2. Well, if we take that 1.5 and multiply it by 12,000 in our calculator, you get 18,000. So now we need to figure out how do we get from 18,000 to 3,600 so we can figure out how many hours, how do we get from 1 to whatever many hours 3,600 is. Well, easiest way to do that would be come over here and we're going to say 36,000 divided by 18,000. And that will give us, put it in your calculator, 36,000 divided by 18,000, and you get 2. So in order to get from 18,000 to 36,000, we multiply by 2. So we're going to multiply by 2 here. So to mow the entire lawn, it takes her 2 hours. So how long does it take? I'm going to make this a little smaller so we can fit it past my stuff. 2 hours. Now that's if we're using a table. We can also use our ratios. So I'm going to say something is going to equal something else. Now I want to know how much 1 hour is. So my hours are going to be on the bottom and my area is going to be on the top. So I'm going to say 12,000 over here over that 2/3 we knew. And then we need to figure out what is this over here. And we already know that this is going to be, what is the area? And so these are what we're trying to find our unit rate of. So let's erase this real quick because we need to write there. Erase. All right. So let's go. We know how to get to our unit rate. We want this to be 1 hour. To get there, we're going to multiply this by 3/2, or if you want to call it 1.5, whatever you want to multiply it by. So I'm going to put 1.5 here just because it's easier. We already know 12,000 times 1.5 gave us 1,800. So we knew we got our 1 because 3/2 multiplied by, 2/3 multiplied by 3/2 gives you 1. And 12,000 multiplied by 1.5 gives you 1,800. So we figured out what 1 hour is. Now we need to go ahead and figure out another ratio. So I'm going to erase the stuff on the bottom. If you ran out of space, that's fine. You can either put it on the side. I'm actually going to put it on the side. I know you guys don't have the side area. I don't want to erase anything though. Just try and make sure you're writing small. So now we're going to say that 1,800 over 1 is going to equal 3,600 over what? And this is what we're filling in, guys. So now we need to figure out how am I getting from here to here. Again, we said we're going to multiply by 2. So we multiply by 2 here, and you get 2. So then again, you have that 2 hours right here. So either way, whatever method you want to use the ratios, you want to use the table, you're still going to get an answer of 2 hours. So let's try example 2. Let's zoom in. Oh man, it's getting a little wonky. All right, so Claire boarded an airplane in Richmond, Virginia and flew 414 miles. I feel like that's going to be important, so let's underline it. Directly to Charleston, South Carolina. The total flight time was 3/4 hour. How fast did Claire's airplane fly in miles per minute? So when they give us this, they're telling us what our ratio should be. So if we're doing miles per minute, that means miles per hour. Sorry guys, I kept saying minutes. We want to know how many for 1 hour. So we know we want our miles on top. And remember that you can always think of that per as your division sign, your fraction, whatever you want to think about, miles per hour. So the hours are going to go on the bottom, the miles are going to go on top. So let's make our equivalent ratios. We're going to put our miles that we know, 414, and then we know our hour is 3/4, and it should equal our second ratio. So we know we want to know what was her miles per hour. So we want to know what for 1 hour would be. So we're going to say 1 right here. And so since we want to know 1 hour, we need to figure out what can we multiply or divide 3/4 by right here in order to get 1. Well, remember, we're going to multiply by that reciprocal. So we're going to say we're going to multiply this by 4/3. And multiplying by 4/3 is the same thing as multiplying by, and we just put it in our calculator, 4 divided by 3, and that's 1.3 repeating. Now, can we put that into a calculator? No. So I'm just going to multiply by 4/3. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So 12/12 gives us that 1. But up here, it's a little different. So we're going to multiply by that 4/3. And that means we're going to multiply the numerators, which would be the 414 and the 4. So 414 times 4, which gives us 1,656. And then we're going to divide it by 3, which gives us 552. So our total is 552 miles per hour. And that's it right there, 552 miles per hour. So that's all I got in this lesson. We will do example 3 tomorrow in class, and then you guys on the next day will do the practice problems. If you have any questions, please let me know. Email me, send me a message on Canvas, and I will talk to you guys when I see you next time. Bye, guys.